They thought it was just a peaceful weekend getaway, a father and his young son escaping to a secluded cabin deep in the woods. But when the boy looks out the window one night and sees a man watching them from across the river, everything changes. What starts as a creepy encounter turns into a terrifying battle for survival. And the boy learns that his quiet, ordinary dad has a violent past, and someone has finally come back to settle the score. I always hated how quiet the river got at night. My dad said we needed this trip. Just us guys. He'd rented a cabin deep in the mountains, right by the Elk Fork River. The drive took 5 hours and half a tank of gas, and by the time we got there, the sun was already melting behind the trees. The place looked like something out of an old survival show, wooden, crooked, and surrounded by nothing but pine needles, mosquitoes, and stillness. Inside, it smelled like dust and leather. There were only 2 bedrooms, one tiny kitchen, and a big window that looked straight across the river into the woods on the other side. I liked the view during the day, but at night, that window was a black mirror, and if you stared long enough, it stared back. The second night, I couldn't sleep. The forest sounded different out here. In the city, you fall asleep to sirens or the hum of neighbors. Out here, it was just the wind and your own heartbeat. I crept out of bed, still in my dinosaur pajamas, and shuffled into the living room where the fire had died down to just glowing red guts. I looked out the window. I don't know why. I wish I never had. There was a man standing across the river, not walking, not moving, just standing, half in shadow, half lit by moonlight. His jacket looked wet or dirty, I couldn't tell. But what got me, what made me want to puke, was the way he tilted his head, like he was listening to something only he could hear. And even across the river, even in the dark, I swear he was smiling at me. I ran back to my room and shut the door. "Dad," I whispered. He was snoring, hard. I shook his arm. "Dad, there's a man. Outside, across the river. He's watching us." His eyes opened fast, like too fast, like they'd been halfway open the whole time. He sat up, put his hand on my shoulder. Not gentle. Firm. "You're sure?" I nodded. My heart wouldn't stop banging against my ribs. Dad got up, real calm-like, and opened a big wooden chest in the corner of the room. I'd always thought it was full of fishing gear. Turns out it wasn't. He pulled out a black case and opened it. Inside was a gun, a big one, not the kind hunters use, not the kind you see in movies. This one was quiet, cold. "Stay here," he said, "no matter what happens." "What's going on?" I asked. Dad paused. "That man, he's not just some crazy. He's someone from a long time ago, someone I hoped was dead." That's when I realized my dad wasn't just some quiet mechanic like he told people. There were layers to him, scary layers. He moved through the cabin like he'd been trained for it, shut off all the lights, pulled the curtain just enough to peek through. Then, just before he left, he knelt in front of me. "If anything happens to me, run south down the river. Don't stop for anyone, understand?" I wanted to cry, but I nodded, because that's what you do when your father's eyes look like stone. Then he was gone. I crawled to the window again. The man was gone. But the woods, they weren't still anymore. I could see movement. Not just one shape, 2, then 3. They were spreading out. There was a sound like glass snapping, not breaking, snapping. A muffled thud came from behind the cabin. I heard something outside my bedroom window, breathing, heavy. Then a shadow passed. That's when the first scream came, from the back of the cabin. Not Dad's, someone else. It was followed by 2 sharp pops, then silence, Then another voice, low, croaky, just outside the front door. "We know you're in there, ghost." I didn't breathe. "Come out, and we won't hurt the kid." Lies. You can always tell when grown-ups are lying. I crawled under the bed. My heart sounded like it was trying to dig through my chest. Then footsteps, slow, careful, creaking across the wooden floor. The door opened. Boots. The man's voice again. "You think you can run from the past forever? You should have finished me when you had the chance." I clamped my hand over my mouth. Then, another voice. Dad's. "You talk too much." 2 more shots, then silence, then a wet sound, then crunching. Something hit the floor. I heard Dad breathing, panting, and then whispering, "Are you okay?" I crawled out from under the bed. That's when I saw him, Dad, holding a knife. His arm was bleeding. His shirt was torn. His face. It wasn't my dad's face. It was a killer's face. Cold. Dead. Behind him, a body lay crumpled. A hole where the eye should be. Blood soaked into the wooden floor like black ink. But it wasn't over. Because when we stepped outside to find the others, there was a whistle from across the river. The man. Still there. Different one. Same crooked smile. "You always did keep souvenirs, James?" He called out. Dad's name was James? "I thought you were in pieces," Dad said. The man stepped forward, and I'll never forget what he looked like. Pale, scarred, one hand metal, one eye milk white. He looked like someone stitched together from war and vengeance. "I was," he said, "but you left me alive. Mistake." Dad fired, but the man was gone before the bullet reached him. Gone. We didn't sleep that night. We packed and left before the sun even rose. Dad didn't explain much, just said, "I burned some bridges a long time ago. One of them walked back." I kept glancing out the window on the ride back. Every time I saw trees or shadows, I thought I saw that crooked smile. The worst part? Sometimes I still do. Even now, weeks later, in my school window, in my dreams, across the river in my mind, waiting,